Welcome back. This is Market Fatafat, and we have our technical guests as well as research team joining in to talk a little bit more about stocks that you need to keep on your radar. So let's bring on board Mubina as well as Kunal Bothra and Hemant Kapadia as well as Siddharth Bothra, who's joining in to give us Siddharth Bhamri, pardon me, who's joining in to give us a heads up on all the stocks to watch out for. Well, first one on the radar is one within the pharma pack that's having quite a field day, and that's Dr. Reddy's, Mubina.
Well, yes, Dr. Reddy's is one of your top nifty gainers today after Indivior has lost the bid for re-hearing in the Suboxone patent case. They, remember, were looking to reinstate the ban on Dr. Reddy's selling Suboxone, which had recently been lifted. And it's an important drug, you know, because it's used to treat opioid addiction. The drug size is estimated to be more than $1 billion. So naturally, it is expected to be quite an important drug for Dr. Reddy's, which at this point of time has 4 players: Mylan, Alvogen, AG, and of course DRL. In fact, analysts are expecting 10% of the profits for FY18 from Suboxone. So this certainly has come as a relief for DRL.
All right, there you have it. That's the word coming in, and no wonder then that the stock is firm in trade today above the 2800 mark. Meantime, let's check in on some metal names as well, and there's JSW Steel that's in focus. In fact, flattish at this point in time, but what is the trend that you're observing, Kunal? Why is it on the radar today?
Last 1 week we've seen a slight increase in volumes for JSW Steel, but I think more importantly that the fall is getting arrested for the stock. So I think 270, 265 is now acting as a very strong support zone for the stock, and it's now trying to claw back above its short-term moving averages. Generally, that could be a sign of a short-term trend reversal, and which is why I flagged off JSW Steel at current levels. It's also forming an inverse head and shoulder chart pattern, which could break out above those 277 mark on spot levels. So that's a buy above those levels for a target of 292 and stop loss at 260.
Above the 277 mark, says Kunal. For now, just about finding its feet around the 273 level on JSW Steel. Well, let's shift gears then and talk about telecom. It's clearly Airtel that is the big headline, as Moody's has downgraded the company's unsecured notes to BA1 from Baa3 rating, assigning a BA1 corporate family rating on Bharti Airtel with a negative outlook, which is essentially a non-investment grade rating. Now, this definitely the outlook could worsen if the capital raising activities fail to materialize, if the consolidated debt to EBITDA continues to remain elevated at 4.5 times, if the adjusted EBITDA margins fall 35% on a sustained basis according to Moody's. But you could see some amount of stability if the company manages to strengthen the credit profile or the core Indian mobile and non-mobile services. The stock has managed to recover. That's Airtel for you at 304. Well, moving on then from one metal stock to another, there's Tata Steel as well that's on the radar. In fact, Hemant, let's understand your outlook here. You believe it's a hold call?
Yes, good morning to you. I think we're at the end of a protracted decline. The stock is recovering from an oversold zone. The downside appears to be limited. The daily mechanical indicators have given crossover buys, indicating that we are expecting a bounce. Bounce seems to be in the offing. Hold with a stop at the 460, target 488.
That's the word coming in. Hope you've taken note. That's Tata Steel for you in trade. Meantime, just dial then. And where are we seeing what kind of volume traction are we seeing? What are the positions in the cash market as well? Siddharth, give us a sense as to what's happening here.
Well, 17% rise in open interest in early part of this series, that is today, and we are seeing price correcting, which means this is formation of short positions. Also, around 455, 460 has been strong support, and the way statistics are shaping up, it seems that the stock might challenge that support and move down. So shorting pressure, and if you look at the volumes in cash and futures, both are quite high. So all in all, negative stance.
A negative stance there, just dial, which is on the radar, 3% down. Meantime, let's also talk about quite a volatile candidate, and that is Piramal Enterprises. In fact, it's on Kunal's radar today, as the stock is showing you some amount of semblance. But what's the undertone for Piramal? What are the levels to watch out for on the charts, Kunal?
I think 2 days back or 3 days back, the stock had formed a bullish engulfing pattern. So it had a rise of almost 75 to 80 bucks on that day. The volumes also shot up quite well on that day, and post that we've seen a different trajectory for the stock. It stopped falling. Now it's more sync with the market moves, and when the market stabilizes, the stock tends to move up higher. I think that's a very strong sign of a trend reversal for Piramal Enterprise and most of these other stocks in the similar space as well. I have flagged off the stock for Piramal Enterprise with a target of at least 2200, 2250 to 2300, as a buying target, and stop loss to be kept around those 2050 mark.
All right, that's the take coming in on Piramal Enterprises. Now there is a strong level of support around the 2000 to 2050 mark. At number 7 then, it's an earnings candidate, that is Whirlpool. In fact, it's been a mixed quarter. Mubina, take us through the internals.
Well, it may have been a mixed quarter, but the stock today has certainly taken quite a beating, though mind you, it has been able to recover quite a bit from the day's low as well. The revenues more or less beat expectations, but EBITDA and PAT were undershot due to higher input costs. Festive season as well did manage to push up sales, but there was commodity headwinds, there was currency headwinds, along with price hike challenges that dragged the EBITDA margins 120 basis points on a year-on-year basis to 8.1%. So there was outperformance on the top line front, but it is the margins and PAT that did play a party pooper for the overall numbers.
All right, there you have it. That's the view coming in, and clearly the stock, as you can see, is in the red, as Mubina said. Meantime, it's a sell on bounce. That's the verdict coming in on PNB, which is holding out and is bouncing up in trade today. But what levels would you be looking at to him in here?
Well, Avan, it's a sell-on bounce. We've entered a short-term decline. It's closed and slipped below the 55-day exponential moving average. Daily mechanical indicators have given crossover sells, indicating that yes, we've entered a corrective phase which could go deep. But positive divergence on the stochastic on the daily charts, a crossover buy on the intraday charts seem to suggest a bounce is in the offing, hence a sell-on bounce.
Right, that's PNB for you, 3% higher as we speak. Tell you what, let's take a quick. Let's just move on then to the next stock then and focus in on pharma. Cipla, in fact, is showing you quite a divergent move in trade today compared to Dr. Reddy's. Of course, there's a trigger there. From 514, it's dipped to about 506 in today's trading session. But let's understand, Siddharth, what exactly is the kind of traction that we're seeing on the volume side?
Again, here too, I've identified stock where volumes are on the high side. But then we are not seeing very negative stance in Cipla. Stock corrected from higher levels. In fact, last week, beginning of last week, we did see a strong bounce and then there was some correction. Now today, I would say it's not correcting, it's consolidating. But the kind of built up and the volumes are happening, and that too in first 2.5 hours of trade hour, this stock merits an attention. So watch out for further volatility in Cipla and maybe on the downside.
All right, that's the take coming in, 507 down 0.5%. That sure is a volume buzzer in trade. Meantime, there's Equitas as well that is on the radar. And Kunal, you're giving this one a thumbs up?
Yes, Avan, and the stock has a similar sort of chart pattern of late. It's recovering quite well. Bullish, I would say a downward sloping channel breakout, and that has strong bullish implications for the stock. And also the volumes in the last 2-3 days has improved for Equitas. I am expecting that the stock should claw back to its 200 moving average, which I think is placed around those 130, 132 plus levels. So that's a buy, targets of 130, stop loss 118.
Okay, there you have it. That's the view in terms of important levels to map out. At number 11 then, Mubina, let's talk about another result candidate, and that's Aditya Birla Fashion. What exactly have the numbers been like? What are brokerages saying?
Well, here too, numbers were pretty strong. Again, revenue growth momentum has been maintained. There was that product enhancement shift in the festive season. Pantaloons, by the way, reported its highest ever same-store sales growth of 17%. Madura Lifestyle too contributed and continued rather its same-store sales growth momentum at 8% during the quarter. And most are expecting this sales momentum to continue. It was all-round broad-based top-line growth, and most brokerages as well seem to be pretty optimistic.
Okay, clearly that's the view coming in on the stock. No wonder then that it's quoting comfortably above the 200 mark. Well, let's move on and talk about a stock that sure is having a rip-roaring session. Second straight day on the trot, and that is Titan. How much further can it go from here? Heymain, has one missed the bus on the company and on the stock in terms of buying into it?
Well, frankly speaking, yes. If one were to buy fresh, Avan, I think it's a bit late in the sense we've just moved 5% in 2 days. There could be a cool off. Having said that, it's in a short, medium, long-term uptrend, multi-year breakout, all-time highs, clear blue skies, no resistance levels. Further upside seem like a distinct possibility. Hold with a stop loss of 1020, a target of 1078, Avan. The target might be overshot also.
Okay, that's the take coming in on the stock in terms of what levels to watch out for on Titan. Well, let's move ahead of that and focus in on future retail as well. That's in focus today on the back of what's been a fairly healthy set of numbers. The revenues came in higher by 13% at 5,301 crore rupees. You also had the margins expanding, so 5.2% versus 4.6%. The profits as well healthy at 201 crores. But the stock, though, is not really taking heed to that. Future retail at 435, down 2% in trade. Meantime, at number 14, what exactly are we seeing by way of moves from on Tata Global Beverages with us?
Well, this stock again is correcting, Avan, and if you look at the details, then we have seen again here fresh formation of short positions. Now, stock is at 18-month low. It has been underperforming, and short positions are indicating that probably there can be a further downside. So watch out for levels of this 190, 195, where time and again this stock has taken some support and bounced back. And if this breaches, then you can brace yourself for further downside.
All right, 195, that is Tata Global Beverages for you. Some fresh formations in short positions. Another Tata Group stock, and that is Tata Sponge. What exactly is the kind of target and stop loss, Kunal, that you have here?
I think we flagged off the stock, I think last week, when the stock was trading sub 700 mark, there was this strong volume candle, formation which happened for Tata Sponge, and post that, it's just about, got into some, very strong momentum. On the short-term charts, it's forming a bullish flag pattern, and the breakout has already happened for Tata Sponge. So I maintain those targets of 800, which we discussed last week, and stop loss could be tailed up higher to 740.
All right, watch out for Tata Sponge in trade, and a stop loss should be maintained at 745. Thumbs up, and it's a hold with a target of 300. But on that note, we'll call it a day. So thanks so much then for joining in on the show. We're wrapping it up on Market Fatafat. Markets at noon coming up after a quick break.